Hey everybody, welcome back to the Metal Mill 52 channel. I'm excited to introduce this week's segment. It's been about 2 weeks since I've published a full-length video, but I've finished making the arbors for the grinding wheels, and if you'll stay tuned for the next 30 minutes or so, you'll hear me talk all about and show how I made the arbors and the bases and the tops that secure them in here. So these are the four, let me tilt the camera down. These are the original 4 grinding wheels that came with the kit, and if you watched the previous videos, I showed the actual newspaper from the Sheffield, England 1978 newspaper that these were wrapped in. And it occurs to me that now that I've got all the grinding wheels mounted on the arbors, and I test fitted all of them in the spindle and used my little drawbar here, and they all tighten up real well, so I'm very happy, very confident about how this is going to be. But now that I've made all these, it's occurred to me that I'm going to have to come up with a storage place, because I want to make sure all the wheels are protected at all times. So that'll be an upcoming project. And the next major thing to do, so there, that shows you the wheel, mounted wheel on the spindle and no slop, so I'm real happy with that fit. The next thing I want to do for the Quorn is to build a motor mount for it, and I'll show you that. That'll probably be my topic for this coming week. And once the motor mount is done, then I'll be able to do the paint and body work and assemble it, and that'll be a couple more episodes, I'm sure, and then maybe we'll be able to wrap this project up about a year from the time we started it. I'm really looking forward to that, so stay tuned for the next few next 20 minutes or so, and you'll see how we made the arbors. If you have just joined the channel, thank you so much for coming and taking a look and spending time with me, and I'm enjoying all the comments. And if you don't feel like making a comment but you enjoyed the video, please give me a thumbs up, and if you would, please subscribe and tell your friends. I'm trying to grow the channel. Thanks very much, everybody. Again, thoughts and prayers to the folks in Ukraine and to all those folks that are helping them. So y'all take care. Have a great week. Following on with the Quorn Tool and Cutter Grinder project, throughout this week I've made a total of 7 of these little arbors that will be used to hold the various wheels. And what's neat about mass producing something like this is you kind of develop your technique over time and you get a little bit better. So pretty happy with the results of these. The next thing is to make bases for them, and what I think I'm going to do, rearrange things a little bit here. As you can see, the large diamond cup wheel and the pink cup wheel over here, they're both going to need a wide base because they have huge 1.25" arbors. So what I did was I used a micrometer and I measured the thickness of each of these. This one's just over 3/8, and this one is 430 thou thick. So what I did was I drew up a plan. I searched my scrap box, found some chunks of aluminum like this that were left over from various other projects, and these will be perfect for making the base and centerpiece for these cup wheels. So my next step here, this is Saturday morning, I'm about to take one of these. This is the larger one, so I'll be using it for the diamond wheel. I'll turn this thing off flush and then basically machine it down to sort of a wedding cake shape like you see here in the drawing. So I made dimensions for the 2 different ones that I have to make. I'll make both of those, and then I'll be able to Loctite them to the various arbors and then trim them flat, and they should be, I'll make them when I make them. I'll do some video of this, but I kind of wanted to cover the overall concept first so you can see what I'm attempting. So we'll make those both first, the inside pieces, and I've got some larger pieces of steel here, cut-offs that can be used for the top caps. So I'll have to make those as well. And then I have to make smaller, basically flat arbors for all the other ordinary wheels that have the 1/2" arbor. So anyway, that's the layout for today, and we'll bring you along and show you how it works. First step is just cleaning up the back. I turned off the bump that was on there, and then I'm using the auto feed to make a nice clean surface to perfectly flat. Okay, so here's the test fit. Came out really nice. It's just about as tight as I wanted. I didn't want to press fit on there, but I wanted it to. There's no slop in the no wiggle in the fit either, and the outside edge is about 10 thou. You can feel it with your fingernail. It's below the rim of the cup wheel, so it won't. So the cap should put some pressure on that and hold it in place nicely. So let's take it off and show you what we're looking at. So it's an 1.25 inch stem basically, and before I remove this, I'm going to go ahead and drill and ream a 1/2 inch hole in here so it'll fit on the stub, and then it'll all be concentric with all of this, and then I can remove this and flip it around and cut that backside to the correct thickness. I'll show you how that looks. Okay, here's the completed base part and stub for the diamond cup wheel. So I just want to show how it's all going together. So you can see where the aluminum piece that I just finished turning is there. There's the cup wheel. Nice snug fit. It's almost a little bit, anyway, it's the perfect fit. And there's the adapter, if you will, that we just finished making. And there's the arbor that I made during the week. So the game plan is that all these things will be Loctited together, and I'm thinking this will be a permanent piece. I'll probably go ahead and use green Loctite to hold this part together, and then for the cup, this will have to be interchangeable, so I probably will put some kind of a, maybe try some red Loctite or something in there, and then the blue in the centerpiece to lock in when I have the cap screwed down. So really pleased with how that one came out. And this is the little Shoreline drawbar there. I'm just using it kind of as a stand, more or less. So then that came out really good. While I'm at it, while I'm on a roll, I'll go ahead and make the other one for the pink cup wheel, and then we'll start making the rest of the pieces, which are they'll all be pretty similar to the caps. Pretty simple flat steel pieces. A set of them with 1/2 inch holes in them in the center, and then a set of them with just a 1/4 inch and countersunk for the screws that I'm going to use. Alright, I just finished making the second arbor spacer thing for the pink wheel, and came out really good. Let me show you, see if I can demonstrate assembling this one-handed. The fits are all just right. I mean, you'll hear it in a second. There we go. Alright, so here we go, and as you can see, the arbor end's about 10 thou shy of the end of the spacer. Flip the cup over and make it a lot easier to assemble this one-handed this way. Set it in there. So it's kind of it's a gentle, I don't know, you wouldn't really call that a press fit, but it's certainly not loose. So I'm really thrilled how that came out. And let's get the light. Get you a better light looking. So that's perfect. Perfectly centered. Perfect. Now I just need to make a large steel spacer for the top of it for a washer to clamp down. This is drilled and tapped 1/4-20 in here. So that's what I'm going to use for all of these. So now it's just time to make some more, and I'll bring you back and show you the whole finished product when we get it all done. Here I'm parting off a third of the bases that are the 1.5 inch. What I did was I bored and reamed a 1/2 inch, about 3/4 inch deep there, so it should be enough material there for the 3 bases. And then I'm also going to make 3 1/8 inch caps. I'll have to make those. Well, I'd be lying if I said all of my parting off came out this good, but I'm pretty stoked that it did. The first one came out really nice. Here I'm using one of these Noga Shave-A-Viv, whatever you call it, to deburr the inside of the hole. And the part that just cut off is down there in the chip tray. So I'll be parting off the second one in just a second. that sure came out nice. Okay, just a little intermediate shot. I was hoping to wrap this whole thing up. It's Sunday night now, and as you can see, I made and finished a couple of the little arbor washers. These are the ones that the 1/2-inch hole that'll go on the bases, and the ones with the 1/4-inch hole go on the top. But I wanted to show you, pardon the twirling camera, I did have to, some of them did cut off clean, but some of them didn't. So I had to resort to a really creative, elaborate setup for holding them in the 3-jaw, in the big 3-jaw, and having it spaced out so that just enough is protruding so that I can clean this up and put the little concavity in the inside. So it didn't all work out as perfectly as I can, and it's late on Sunday. I'm going to wrap it up for the evening. I'll hopefully finish the rest of these tomorrow, and we'll get to Loctiting this week and publish this video sometime later on. Hey, a minute ago this thing looked like that thing, so I'm going to shoot a couple real short segments just showing the setup and putting it on the lathe, using the 3-jaw chuck and an elaborate set of backings to set it in place and then be able to turn it down so that the inside portion looks as good as the outside. So step 1 was experimenting around and finding the right combination of backing materials that would give me the right distance so that I could place the part, the little wafer spacer thing, in position and have just enough of it being clamped by the jaws and enough of it sticking out. So this is what I came up with. What I do is I actually spread these. I put this in place. It's impossible to capture it while holding a camera, but I put this in place and I gently tighten this, and then I spread these out so that they're like making a V like this, and so it gives me a uniform backing. And then I tap it and tighten it just slightly, and I'll show you that in a second. Let me get it set up and I'll show you what that looks like. Okay, I've got it set kind of loosely into place. You can hear it click basically when everything presses against. You hear a nice resounding click, and you know you've got it in place, and then you can tighten that a little bit more. The next thing I'm going to do is go around and just feel and make sure I've got the uniform distance here. It feels like I have. I'll tighten this up just a teeny bit more, but not too tight, and then I'll be able to pull out all the packing material and then tighten it for a final time. Okay, not to mislead you that this is easy, I just I tightened it the first time, just the second segment you saw a second ago, and then I put it on low speed and spun it, and I could tell it was wobbling. So that's the next thing. So I've reset it now. Let me see if I can show. I tightened this up hand tight. See if I can pull out some of this packing material. Just show you. Just try to do it judiciously without upsetting the work. So pull out both the brass backing pieces and then the vise standoffs. Let me try showing how to tighten it one more time. Let's do a live experiment, and I'll tell you if it looks good enough or not. So I've still got it set on the slow speed, like the 70 RPM. I'm going to tighten this up just a wee bit. It's a lot easier with 2 hands, but tighten that up just so it won't go anywhere. Remove the T-handle. Let's give it a shot using the inching. Alright, that looks fairly decent. Let's see. Yeah, okay. The wobble part is really pretty obvious. And also the feel test, so to speak. You can feel if the piece is not uniform there. So I'll tighten it up and turn it again. And before I start the machining, let me show you. This is at the high speed of 220 RPM. That's the speed that I use to turn it. So we're looking good there, and now I can go ahead and put the little dish shape in there. I'll bring you back. Here I've removed the initial rough part. I'm taking off the first 10th thou or so to create the little dish shape. I'm using the automatic feed on the lathe. Love that feature, as I pointed out before. And when it gets finished, the first thing I'm going to do is rotate the cutter out away from it. And then cut off the automatic feed, then cut off the power. I marked a 0 on my DRO where my dish shape starts. So what I'm going to do, I'll do this next. I guess I can show you this part here. Bring it in a little bit. I'm going to back it up till I get to the 0. You can see I'm pretty close to the starting point there. See, about 34 thou away. Oh, guess I've gone beyond it. Let's see. Okay, so I'm right about the starting point right there. And as you can see, I cut in 12 thou. So what I'll do is start the lathe, I'll cut in, dig in another 12, 15 thou, something like that, and then engage the automatic feed and let it take the dish shape. Alright, here's the last step. As you can see, 32 thou in. Making that final cut in the automatic feed. I'm just holding my hand against the Z-axis travel there just to kind of keep it from bouncing around like it is. Just let it cut. Alright, looks like we're finished. Pull the cutter out, disengage the automatic feed. Cut the lathe off, and look how pretty that is. So the next thing I'll do, I'm going to run the reamer right through the center, and I'll deburr the center hole with my Noga. I'll do both of those on the slow speed, the 70 RPM, and this one will be done. Hey folks, it's Tuesday night, so I just finished cleaning up all the little washers, the last set for the 1-inch cup wheel here. And the next thing I need to do is to trim the length of the arbors. When I made these, I made them too long by 1/8 of an inch because I basically messed up my math. I was thinking that the arbor needed to include the thickness of these washers, but it doesn't, obviously, because the washer sits on top of it. So all of these are going to need to be trimmed about 1/8 of an inch. I'll take an exact measurement and write that down, and then tomorrow night I'll knock them all out. Here's the pink cup wheel. You can see this one won't need it because the arbor and the spacer are below the thickness of the cup wheel. So that's going to look real nice with my 2-inch stainless steel top washer on it. That'll work fine. But all the rest of them are a little too long. Let me show you. The gray one is a very good example. It's easy to see because it's not a dish wheel. So I'll write down the distance that all of these have to get trimmed, and I'll cut them out tomorrow night. And then after that, we'll Loctite them together and we'll keep on trucking, and I'll show you the rest of the process. Alright, about halfway through trimming the arbors for these. I got this one done already, looking good. This one's complete. And what I'm doing, I'm putting these in the putting them in the 5C chuck. This is 5/16 inch diameter here, just slightly under, so it can fit inside the spindle. So I put that in the arbor. I've already measured the distance to remove to trim off the top to the thickness, the right thickness. And then after I get done with trimming it, then I smooth it with a file and use the address the hole, and then I drill it and tap it a little bit deeper, and I use a bottoming tap so the screw can go all the way in. I'll show you the process here in a second. So simply putting it in the 5/16 inch 5C chuck, tightening it up, and I've got the DRO on. So this is the third one I've knocked out in just a few minutes. So I'll put the cutter next to the edge there, zero my DRO, and just trim it like you would any other facing cut. But I'm being real careful, real gentle. I don't want to bend this stem in any way, so I'm only taking off like 15 thou at a time, very judiciously. Right. So there's the final cut for this one. I'm just doing these by hand since it's so small, so the fork and the weight will place up there. Not much to it. I'll run it by again because I wasn't paying close attention. Alright. I've still got the high speed, relatively high speed. It's like 220 RPM. I'm using my little countersink tool. Countersink the center hole, just so it makes a nice smooth transition. And then I'll take a file to it. Just make sure I remove any burr that's up there. You can feel it transmitting through your file if there's any kind of burrs catching. This is my small smooth file. It's going good. Alright, now I'll slow the speed down and I'll re-drill it again and tap. Got it at 70 RPM. I'm just going in making sure I've got my tap hole an inch. That's good. There we go. So there's 100 thou. Excuse me. 1 inch deep. So after drilling it out to depth, and then I power tapped it with the regular ordinary tap. I say power tap, I did it really slowly. And then what I've got here, I've got a bottoming tap for 1/4-20. Then I'm just going in just to kind of clean things out. When I get it all cleaned out, then I'll spray it out with the WD-40 with the little hose nozzle, and you can see it gets the chips out. I'll show you that. Might as well. It's very satisfying to know that you've got the the chips cleared out, and then you can just kind of tap it out when you take the thing out. I always run the machine screw down in there first before I assemble it all with the wheel. This one in particular, I had to take 135 thou off of this thing. That's the one for the little small cup wheel. I'll show you that in a second. Okay, here's the modified shortened arbor with the small cup wheel. You can see how thin and all that is. I'm pretty stoked that this is a 1.5 inch steel base that I made for it, and I've got a 1.5 inch steel cover that I'll put on in a second. Alright, so there's the finished product. 3 down, 3 more to go. Okay, wrapping things up, the entire collection is done with making the bases and so forth. The next thing, the only thing I'm going to do is to use the green Loctite to fix the bases to the arbors. So I've got 7 of those that I have to do. It'll be nice because this stuff works on any kind of material like steel or aluminum. So these 2 that are made out of aluminum, it'll be no problem to Loctite that together. All the rest are steel. So the step is to take them apart, clean them using this acetone nail polish remover, let it dry, and then fix them together with the green Loctite. I think what I'm going to do is, when I fix them together, I'm going to screw them back into position like this. I'm not going to use any other Loctite product on anything else just yet. But the pressure will hold this, these 2 pieces together well enough to make that bond. And the rest of it, you need to be able to remove this stuff to change the wheels if you ever do. So I'm not going to Loctite anything else on for now. Maybe when I start using this thing, I'll use a little blue Loctite to keep the screws in place. But we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. So I'll bring you back. I'll show you the cleaning process in just a minute. Alright, so all the bases are removed from their respective wheels and ready to clean and get ready for the green Loctite. And here's all 7 of the arbors and bases, all after being cleaned out with what was at the time a nice clean blue shop cloth rag and the nail polish remover, high quality Walmart brand. So we'll let that dry a little bit and start the green Loctiting. Alright, working on my 4th one out of 7. As you can see, after cleaning it and making sure it's dry, just put a little bead of the green Loctite. That's way more than you really need there on it. And then I've tightened them all up. Maybe you can see a little bit of you can see some of the green oozing out there. So let's see if I can show you. I don't know if I can do this or not. But putting the cleaned base rim on here, I should set up my stand again. So all of these base washer things are kind of a tight squeeze. There we go. So now I'll put the cup wheel on it. Let's see if I can capture some of this activity here. So I've got the base on it. There's the little cup wheel. Get this out of the way. So this is all the whole top assembly, the screw, the lid, concave. So slide the cup wheel in place. These washers, the little paper washers, are coming loose on some of them. That in place. Okay. And I'll just put the top in. Not much to it. Of course, I had to pick the one with the tiniest little hole to do the demonstration. Probably will cut this part out. So here we go. Maybe I won't cut this out after all. So what I'm doing, I'm just showing you them tightening them all up as good as I can, just hand tight. And a little bit of the green oozes out. There's a lot came out on that one. But the green Loctite, the way it works, it's hardens in an anaerobic, like a non-air environment. So that's why you want to tighten it up. Alright, so that's 4 of the 7 done. Alright, it's been a couple of days since I Loctited the bases on, and they're all done now, so it's dry and secure. So very happy about how these have come out. It's Saturday morning now. I'm about to record the intro for this segment, so I'll do that in a second. But I just wanted to stop and thank everybody that's subscribed. If you enjoy the channel, please give me a thumbs up, subscribe, tell your friends. Help me grow the channel a little bit more. I'd sure appreciate it. And thanks again for watching, and thoughts and prayers for all the folks in Ukraine, and prayers for all the folks that are helping them. Thank you.